Okay, so this is part 2 of the timeline videos that I'm putting together for you on the civil rights events. Now, loads happens in the 1960s that you need to know about, so what I've decided to do is break that up into, well, I'll start with 60 to 63, and then in the next video I'll do 64 onwards, because loads happens. I'm going to try and keep this quite brief. I'm not going to go into loads of detail about the different events, because one, you should know about them already, and two, it'll take quite a while because I'm going to talk about loads of different events. I'll pretty much just name them and the date that they happen. As I say, you should know about them already because we've done all this in our lessons. Obviously, if any of this is confusing you, then you know where to go. There's some videos on some of the things that I'm going to talk about, and obviously you've got your textbook and your exercise book to look at as well. Right, first event that I'm going to talk about, first sit-in. The first sit-in was on the 1st of February 1960. Remember, it's 4 students from North Carolina Agriculture and Technology College. They sit in a whites-only lunch counter in Woolworths in a place called, get the right bit of paper, in a place called Greensboro, okay, in North Carolina. They sit down at this whites-only counter, refuse to move as part of a protest. It grows every day. By the 4th of February, so 4 days later, there are about 300 students taking part, so it grows and grows and grows. Second event, first Freedom Ride, 4th of May 1961. Remember, it's organised to show that desegregation of interstate travel, where you're travelling between states in America, hasn't been desegregated. Remember, before it had been, all the facilities were segregated, so you'd have whites only toilets and blacks only toilets and what have you. They are meant to be desegregated now, or integrated. These protests are put together to show that that hasn't happened, yeah, that they're still segregated. Leading on to that, remember the Anniston firebombing, where one of these buses, one of these Freedom Ride buses, is attacked. That happens on the 14th of May 1961. So for 10 days they travel down America and it's absolutely fine. Then when they get to the south, obviously that's when they start to get attacked. Yeah, obviously Anniston's in Alabama. So that bus was attacked and burned. So again, that happens. You know about that already. Next one, Meredith Case, 1962. Again, you should know all about that, but the Meredith Case happens in 1962. James Meredith not being allowed into university. Birmingham Peace Marches. I have done a video on Birmingham already. Just again, look through the channel and you'll find it. But the Birmingham Peace Marches, May 1963. And finally, Washington March, 28th of August 1963. Again, there is a video on that, Washington March, I Have a Dream speech, Martin Luther King, etc. There's a video on that, but that happens on the 28th of August 1963, Washington March. Okay, so you should know all about that already. So that was quick, 3 minutes. I'm going to do, as I say, another video where I look at events from 1964 onwards. But again, hopefully you're getting an idea of when these things happen now in order, at least I hope you are. Loads happens in the 60s, but obviously in that mock question, quite a few of you made a mistake by putting like Washington March, etc. In your answer, and you were only supposed to talk about the 1950s. Remember, one thing I'd suggest is maybe putting these into your own timeline. There is a timeline in the textbook, but it's full of loads of different events to do with things like the Red Scare, and it looks at the entire period, so maybe just doing one for civil rights would help you. Totally up to you if you want to do that. But hopefully these are helping. As I say, second video, or third video, will be coming up in the next couple of days talking about events that happen from 64 onwards. Okay, so I hope that's been of some use, and I'll see you soon.